And
All
then
right.
we are live, the very first LiveProg live stream,
Yeah.
LiveProg stream. How are you going to say it? yeah. I've been ever since I got back to LiveProg and started doing videos again. I figured I want to do more than just the videos. And one of the things I always like to do in the past with LiveProg was do interviews. And I always tried to find places like when bands came to Holland and performed here, that I would do an interview with them around that concert. But it's not always possible, and that's why I decided, you know what, maybe live streams would be an interesting possibility. And I remember that, you reached out to me, Jonathan,
Yeah.
when I kind of started deciding that I want to go back to LiveProg. Then I figured, you know, one of the things that I found very interesting was to do a live stream and have a chat with you about your music, musical influences, and what else we can come up with in the next hour or so.
Yeah, cool.
But maybe let's start with the most important thing for those who are not familiar with you. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Jonatan Berg. I'm 38. I'm a guitarist mainly, and I've been playing since my teens. That has been like my big passion, and I've been in a couple of bands. But a few years ago, I started like kind of secretly writing some songs that later evolved into what now is Ephemeral Skies. So it's basically a one-man band, but I have a guest that we will probably talk about later. But yeah, that's probably me in like the bigger picture.
Okay. I noticed something in the way you say it, and then that's always the thing with video, with names. When you write reviews or write interviews, you just write down a name. You never have to pronounce it, so you can never pronounce it wrong. But with video, I always have to pronounce names,
Yeah.
and more than often I get them wrong. Okay, so the name of the band, can you say it again?
Ephemeral Skies.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong. I've been saying Ephemeral Skies, but it's
works.
Okay, can you say it again? I need to learn it. I need to
Ephemeral
pronounce it good.
Skies.
Ephemeral Skies.
Yeah.
All right. and well, what does it mean, or how did you come up with that name?
Yeah. Well, basically, it means something that lasts for a limited amount of time, and the reflections I had during writing these songs was kind of it in that manner, or how you say. So like nothing is forever. It can be beautiful things, which symbolizes it's a symbol of the sky, you know. So ephemeral skies. I thought that suited the lyrics that I wrote when making these songs. So came up with the name.
Okay, that's an interesting concept. I was saying, you know, if you think of nothing is forever. I mean, I kind of hope that the music you make is going to last forever. So
yeah, now it's on the internet, and so it's everything that goes on the internet echoes in eternity, right?
yeah, that's true. Once it's out there, it's usually never gets away.
No.
All right, okay, so that's interesting. And you say you are a one-man band, but you also mentioned, you know, you're a guitar player. So what about the rest of the instruments? Did you pick that up somewhere? Did you want to learn other instruments in order to do something like this one day?
No, I kind of always have had to develop my other the skills on the other instruments. It was never meant to be that way. I was just often in situations where I needed to learn the bass because I made demos for bands I was in, and always like to write my own music for like just for my own purpose. So to make a song, I needed to learn the bass. I needed to learn how to think as a drummer. I needed
Hmm.
to learn how to sing. I needed to learn how to play the keyboards or how to arrange similar to an orchestration would do or anything. I can't really play keyboards very well, but I can arrange with the keyboard and in my computer. So I learned. I had to learn it through the years to be able to do what I wanted. So um, those things I probably learned myself most of it through a long period of time.
Okay, so it's sort of a necessity that
Yeah.
you had to learn that. Okay, that's interesting. You mentioned something about doing demos for bands. In what way? What kind of demos would you do?
For example, I was in Shadows Past,
Mhm.
for a long time. I started that band when I was a teenager, and so the way we worked is we wrote the songs uh, separately, most of them, not always, but so I wrote a song at my studio and recorded most of the parts, took it to the band, and everyone learned it together, and that's how the other guys did it as well. Um, though, of course, those demos were not very advanced, but as you do it quite often and through the years, you get better, no matter if you want it or not.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine that you keep on, yeah, doing things and getting better at it. So that, of course, I think the whole process of creating the songs for Ephemeral Skies must
Mm.
have been a good school for you.
Yeah. That process, I learned so much. The first songs I wrote 2018, I think. So they have been lying on my computer for quite some time. And if I look back at the demos that I had back then and how it turned out here in 2024, it has gone a long way since then, even. So, yeah, and doing all these things on my own, yeah, really forced me to develop a lot of different ways. So it's been a
Yeah,
fun journey to look back at it in that way, for
yeah,
sure.
I can imagine. So 2018. So that's roughly 6 years that you've been working on this.
Yeah, but not not like full time for 6 years. But
Okay.
yeah, I wrote
Yeah.
some of the songs uh, around that time, and then I actually put down the guitar and music for a year or two, and
Hmm.
then I started again, and so I didn't do all of the songs back then. You know, wasn't time apart.
Okay. Now, one of the things you already mentioned a little bit in your introduction, something that we definitely need to talk about. But
Mhm.
if I put the timelines together, I'm very curious then, because one of the first things you mentioned to me about the music is that it had an 8-year-old singer. So when you were working on those songs, 6 years,
Mhm, yeah,
she was been two.
yeah. She was
So
2 years old,
how
and I thought,
how
oh,
did that how did her parts got to be in it? I mean, what was the point that you had like, hey, I want to use her voice in it?
mm, that was when I started to finish the songs. I had come very far on the recordings, but I just felt like I need something more. I need one more dimension. So perhaps one more singer, perhaps like a girl that can bring like a new flavor in. And But first I thought like maybe I should call someone that I worked with before, and then I just got this idea. I don't know where it came from actually, but we had been hanging out. We're friends to the family, so that's how I know her. And I haven't heard her singing. I just knew that she would be perfect in some way. So asked her. She came over and we recorded. It went so good. Yeah, wasn't really planned at all.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, kind of spontaneous,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how does she look back on this experience?
Yeah, she thinks was a cool thing to do. I think she's proud. She should be. Absolutely.
Does she like the music?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, well, what have I been singing to?
Yeah.
Oh, but I gotta say that really, yeah. I mean, if you take away those vocal parts, I think the songs would still be great. But adding her voice to it really makes them even more special and really stand out. So I think it's a good decision
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
to have done that.
Yeah, when I came up with the idea, I was literally like, uh, "Can I do this?" Yeah, of course I can. Like there should be no limitations. Let your mind free
Yeah.
and cool
Hmm.
things happen.
Okay. Okay. So she kind of had a sort of, well, can I say improvise or?
Yeah, she didn't knew any parts before. She hadn't heard the songs before. She came over to the studio and just, but I had written the melodies for her, so
Okay.
we rehearsed quickly and yeah. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, nice to hear those things. I always find it interesting how those things come together and with great results. It's really cool
Mhm.
to find those things.
Mhm.
Just a quick word to the viewers, and especially if you're tuning in a little bit later. Then once again, welcome to the first LiveProg live stream. As you can see, I'm here with Jonatan Berg of Ephemeral Skies, and we're having a chat about well, the digitally released EP Inside These Walls. I gotta say, one of the things that I also liked about the whole idea, not just the music, but also the visuals, the artwork, and everything.
Oh,
That
cool.
was quite
Thanks.
nice. Did you do the artwork as well?
No, I am really bad at. Okay, in some way I did, but I'm really bad at that. Um, the artwork for the inside these walls, the complete EP. Um, I got it from an artist. I found it online, and it was available, so um, I got it from her. And for the singles, I made them myself via AI because I'm really bad at all things that has to do with picture and movie and stuff. So so I did it with AI, but it was
Mhm.
it sounds like I pressed the button and then it was done. It was not like that. Like took a long time to get it to where I
Mhm.
wanted to tweak it and you know.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a little bit of yourself and a little bit of the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. Well, I gotta say, yeah, artwork looks really good. I really like that very much. So altogether, the whole package looks great. It sounds great, and I'm keep coming back to this. I'm really sad that it's a digital only release. What would it take for you to get something like your music out on CD in the future?
Of course, that's a goal I have. I just feel that I can't, take the risk of doing that because it's not like you print a few CDs. You do it in a bigger scale, and I hope to do that perhaps on the next record. And if it's possible, I can do this one as well. Then, so that's where I'm striving for. So that's where I hope to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I got to say that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do a video of your music. to hopefully get it more people, get it on the attention of more people. And I think the live stream we're doing right now would also help there.
Really
That's
appreciate
why
it.
yeah, you're welcome. That's why I mentioned in the title of the video a hidden gem. It's because there's a lot of music out there, and I can understand it's not always easy to be seen or heard or picked up, and that's why that's something I've always done with my LiveProg channel is bring the music out that hopefully people will hear and think, okay, hey, this is something cool. I like that. I want to hear more of it. And hopefully from there on, things can grow. And I hope that for you as well, that more people are going to listen to it. And speaking of that, I prepared, I'm playing around a little bit with this channel. I haven't worked with this software very much yet. So, but I know there's some things. So just doing a little additional promotion, that they can go to your YouTube channel and listen to some music, and of course on Spotify,
great.
on Tidal,
Great, thanks, man.
on streaming platforms. There you can also hear the music. You mentioned, and that's something I always also found, that you've also been in a band, Shadows Past.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
I started that when I was 17, I think. So I still went to school and so I started the band with some friends and got in contact with a guy that worked at the school. It was a musical school, and he was a great singer. So we started to cooperate on some stuff for fun, and then he started to join the band, and we were Shadows Past. So we released our album Perfect Chapter in 2013, I think. So, and after that we started working on the second album, and during that process it kind of grew that people wanted to go in, we wanted to go in different directions, kind of. So I don't know, it's put on ice maybe, so we'll see.
Yeah, okay. The band is no longer active or together. I understand.
It's not active. No, that's right.
Okay, yeah. But have there been other bands that you played in, or was this the only one?
No, I was in other bands. Not really. I think like Shadows Past was my baby. That was my big thing.
Okay.
But I was in other
Yeah.
bands as well, but not like not the same relation that I had to Shadows Past.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But I played
Okay.
different genres as well. So I was in cover bands, played at weddings, played at metal bands. The whole
Okay.
band.
As long as it was music, then.
Yeah, kind of.
Or do you have some things that you really wouldn't do, music wise?
I'm not really good at hip hop.
Okay. Well, that brings me a little bit, of course, to another topic that I mentioned in my promo messages out there. I mean, we talked about the album, but what I'm also curious about, and I have, of course, a general idea, but a little bit about the musical influences, because obviously it's metal. But even then, there's a lot of variety in it. So, what especially when it comes to the guitar, what made you want to play the guitar?
I kind of had it in the family. My father played the guitar, so we always had like an acoustic guitar laying around at home. So, kind of got the first chords that way. And then my brother started to playing the electric guitar, and that was of course cool as hell. So borrowed that Ibanez guitar at times, and got really attached to guitar based music. So like the guitarists like Steve Vai, Satriani, and Marty Friedman, and those. Even that, I barely couldn't play, but I was really attached to that style and to that instrument. So then my father took me to the Steve Vai concert. Can't remember what year. I was probably 14. And after that, I started to work at weekends to save to get my first guitar, and that was the big start off, I guess. So since then, I just practiced.
Okay. Oh, that I gotta say that's a different influence than I would have thought. I would have thought, so, some band or something, but Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, those are very good influences. I've never seen Steve Vai live, but I've seen shows of him on TV, and I was like, when I see him play, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, from there on out, other influences or things that you really like to listen to.
Yeah, from that, it like developed a lot, and guitar wise, I'd say my main influence these days, and has been for a long time, is Marty Friedman. And I think he has adapted his playing from the 80s to now, still creating new stuff and hanging on to the times, but doing his own thing at the same time. And I'm really inspired by his way of looking at music and art. So that's been a big influence as well. He's very, very fond of the Japanese way of art and music. Which is, in one song it can be so many emotions. Can go from a sad ballad to like the craziest happy chorus to metal. Everything. There are no rules, there are no limitations whatsoever. So that's been like a big inspiration for me to think in that way, though I am not as extreme myself. But to have that freedom in your mind has really helped me a lot. So Martin Freeman is probably one of the biggest for me.
Okay. Yeah, I did pick up that he was had a connection with Japan somewhere. So
yeah, he moved there many years ago.
Okay.
He moved there. Yeah.
That's a whole different world, I think, to go there. I mean, I know my son has this plan that one day he wants to really go to Japan, and he likes the mangas and animes and so. But when I see that, it's like it's a very interesting culture, but it's totally different from what we have here in our place.
Yeah. I couldn't fit in, I guess, but look at it from outside, it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, that's nice to hear. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, I can mention about Martin Friedman one more thing that he inspired me a lot to is I studied a lot of music in the past days, and I never could learn jazz properly. I studied a lot of jazz. I've practiced all the scales, done all the songs, but I can't really get it to come out natural and sound like a proper jazz musician. But with Martin Friedman's way of thinking, that'll help me to find the interesting notes and to do a lot with the harmonic language. So I heard him mention baby jazz, and I think that's amazing. That's what I do too, baby jazz.
Yeah. Okay. That's you say baby jazz, and we just mentioned Japan, and I have to think baby metal. Baby jazz.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm starting to think like, how would that sound, baby jazz?
But what it means is, we're not playing proper jazz, but we try to find interesting notes that might not belong to the chord, but we find our own way to do that.
Okay.
Not the traditional.
That's a good thing. Yeah. Okay, I'm experiencing some problems with my laptop from my side. My screen is doing strange things.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening, but
okay, you look good.
Actually, I can still see things, and but it's I got all kind of black bars in my screen right now, so
All right.
I don't know what's going on. I hope it goes away.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
we'll see where we end. Um, no, it's nice that you have such an inspiration from a musician like that, and that he can show you all, not just on a musical style, but in more things. Interesting ideas. That I always like that very much. It's I love the music, but of course there's a lot of things around it as well that I also I'm always interested in. And I personally I always like to more about the backgrounds of music, where music comes from, the inspirations and things like that. That's one of the things I always like, because then often when I know more about where music comes from, I get a better connection with it.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
don't know. You have that too?
Yeah, yeah, of course. It brings a deeper meaning to it.
Yeah.
The more you learn about something, the deeper involved you get with it. So, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Speaking about inspiration, and I kind of think I forgot to ask you that, but with the music for Ephemeral Skies, what idea did you have behind that? What let's say inspiration to make these tracks?
Well, the first tracks that I wrote 2018, as I said, I just wrote them in contrast to what I had done before, because I wrote a lot of short songs in the hit style, or what you would call it. And I was kind of sick and tired of that, I guess. So I just, for myself, on my chamber, wrote quite long songs, 9 minutes they are. So that was like in contrast of that. And when I took it up now, mm, and started to working on them, I needed to put them into the same package, sort of. So I had to develop an idea that would bring these songs together. So then I started working on, okay, maybe the lyrics should be about something, and started to work on the lyrics to suit together. And then I wrote the other two more songs to fulfill the EP. Actually, I wrote three more songs, but one didn't make it to the release, unfortunately.
Okay. Why didn't that song make it?
I never, that was one song that I really like, but and I recorded it many times, but I never can get it to sound the way I want to. So
Okay.
I'm gonna save it until I get it right.
Okay, so it's not completely gone yet. You're just gonna hang
No,
on to it,
yeah,
and
it's resting, but
yeah.
it's been down for a long time. But yeah,
Okay.
someday.
And now you released Inside These Walls officially on May 24th.
Yeah.
How do you look back on the whole process when you're done now and you look back? How do you feel about that?
I look at it. Um, you know, every time I release music, it's like a document uh, of that captures the time I was in, what I knew at that moment, and what I had in my mind at that moment. So when I look back at these songs since 6 years ago, um, I store every demo that I have, so I can go back and look at it, and I can see the whole process, and I can see how I have developed, and I can see why I took the next decision. And it's very interesting, like, to kind of study my own development in that way. So yeah, kind of that way I look at it, like a big journey for me in my my own musicality.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, you did everything, well, almost everything yourself,
Mhm,
without exception of
mhm.
one. But what is the way forward for you? You're going to continue this? You're going to write more songs and maybe release another EP or more in time? But are you really going like, I'm going to do it like I did? Or do you see yourself maybe involving more people, more musicians in the future?
Um, yeah, I look at it with open eyes. That's all I know. I have started to write some songs, um, but I look at it with open eyes, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring in other people or if I'm gonna do it in a similar way. I tried actually to bring in some other people on this project, but I never got it. Find the right ones to do it. Um, but I will see. I'm having my eyes open, and I was thinking perhaps I'll do it like Arion, Arian Lucasen's
Hmm.
project, perhaps like that, to have different vocalists, different
Yeah,
drummers, or whatever. Or perhaps we do it like a band, or perhaps uh, it's me and Alva, perhaps. So I will
yeah.
just write the songs, do the complete package with the songs and the basic
Hmm.
structures, and then when it's time to do the final recordings, I will see where I am, basically. So I'm
Yeah,
just keeping my eyes open until that day is
yeah, yeah.
come.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay. Yeah. You did mention Alpha. Is there a chance she will be also be heard on future songs?
Yeah, I hope so. That would be like a cool thing, I think. So
Yeah,
if she's on, we'll work something out, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, would be interesting also for her. Yeah, you never know. Maybe she'll become a singer one day.
Yeah, yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, no, but it's a nice experience for such a girl to do that. So I can imagine that. One thing we also talked about in our emails and which I mentioned in the review of Inside These Walls. I mean, you said it. You're doing all the things. I've been listening to the tracks also afterwards, and I still think the drums sound great. I still it's because
Cool.
it's a thing, of course. I mean, as I mentioned, I don't know if you're familiar with the band Pallas.
No, I haven't
The-
heard.
They're from Scotland,
Okay.
prog band,
Okay, cool.
and they had a troublesome time, and they got reunited with their former singer, and all of a sudden they brought out a new album, but they didn't have a drummer.
Mm.
For some reason, the drummer that played on previous albums, I don't know why he was not involved, but he wasn't. And so I believe the guitar player and the keyboard player together, they programmed the drums. And it's a funny thing because when you know that before listening to it, you start to listen to it and
Mm.
yeah, then I noticed it, and then I looked. It's like, okay, it's programmed drums, and then it's like you hear it, and it's like kind of like it would have been nicer to have real drums. When I was listening to your songs, I was really like in doubt. Like are they programmed? I mean, are they real drums? But you played everything, so that's why I asked you. Are you a drummer? Because I was very curious. But
Mm.
yeah, they sound really good.
Thanks. Cool.
What,
Yeah.
what, what's your secret?
Well, I haven't heard that band, so I cannot say. But one thing that comes to mind is perhaps they're not used to do um, a recording with MIDI drums. Um, I have done it since 2005. So since you started to do like mimic proper real drum kits, basically. So I've done it for a long time. I follow the developments, and um, sometimes I hear music when there are uh, MIDI drums, and as you said, you hear it instantly. Um, and sometimes you really can't hear it. And I guess the difference is, as I look at it, uh, it consists of two things: it's timing and the velocity. So when you program drums, a lot of that are not used to do a proper programming of drums, they put every beat on the bar, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. That's not how they hit. You gotta sag a little, or you're gonna be a little bit up front, to make it sound realistic. So you have to find a way to mimic that, or basically to do that. And same with velocity. You can't hit every drum in the same strength. You have to find variety and learn when to hit hard and when to hit soft. When do they hit hard and when do they hit soft? I can't play drums myself, but I have learned, at least on some level, to think as a drummer. I remember a phrase by Michael Jackson in an interview. He said, "You have to become the instrument, like to be able to, arrange it." So that's what I try in my studio. I kind of sit with my shoulders and my arms and my foot and try to become the drums.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, you have a good point there. I mean, a drummer doesn't sit still and just has his hands moving. His entire body is moving. So, and yeah, when you program drums, just programming them, then you don't move at all. So, yeah, it's a interesting
sometimes I
point.
bang on my keyboard, on my keyboard, and sometimes, I find a way to work it out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one, and an interesting quote by Michael Jackson, by the way. I hadn't heard that one. So, but it's good advice, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So that's really nice to hear. I have to say, other than what are your future plans? I'm out of topics.
Yeah. But I can tell you more, because as I am one guy doing this, it's hard to do it live. Of course, would be very stressful.
I understand.
Yeah. But I hope someday, perhaps when I do the second album, I'll be able to, like, my dream is to, of course, to release it on a CD, and then I got a reason to really get a band together and do some live shows. That's, of course, my goal and my dream. Would be awesome to do it, like to have done it from scratch and to reach that possibility would be amazing. So that's a big, I can't say it's a plan, but it's kind of a dream that I think it's not impossible anyway.
No. I think that's a very good dream to have, and something to strive to achieve one day. So, and in the meantime, of course, well, you have your own studio, and you can play all these instruments. So,
yeah.
You're not depending on others. You can move forward, which is also an advantage. So that's very nice.
Yeah.
So I find it very interesting to have a chat with you, Jonathan. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I just thought this would be an interesting thing. I mean, normally, I got to be honest, normally I always have some people asking questions or making remarks in the chat we can talk about. But fortunately, there are some people watching, which thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. But unfortunately, we didn't get much from the chat. And I think that's mainly because, of course, there are not a lot of people, maybe the people who know here, LiveProg, that are familiar with you. And maybe, not everybody has seen the review yet. So if they haven't, check out the review of Inside These Walls, which is on the LiveProg YouTube channel, because there are some samples in it that you can hear the music. And I'll put it on the screen again. Of course, the Ephemeral Skies YouTube channel, where you can also watch and listen to the music, which is a nice way to discover new music. I always like to help people discover new music, because that's something I like myself as well, like hearing new music and really when you hear something, then you really have the idea like, hey man, this is interesting. This is very nice. I'm happy that we got together.
Yeah, very much appreciated, and I'm really glad I got in contact with you. And
Definitely,
yeah, it means a lot.
because
Mm,
it is absolutely wonderful music.
mm.
It's just the kind of music I like a lot. I mean, I'm very much into progressive rock, but deep down, I kind of like metal a little bit more, to be honest.
All right, all right. Mhm,
Yeah, I think the balance with me is still that the majority of my collection is progressive rock, but
mm.
I still have a growing amount of metal music, progressive metal music in it, which I definitely like very much.
Cool,
Um,
get it. Mm.
what, what when we look at your music collection, what are some things we're going to find there?
Well, uh, some things that I really listen a lot to, like Symphony X. I should have mentioned that on the influences. Like Symphony X is a big influence for me. Michael
Mhm.
Romeo's songwriting has been a huge influence on Ephemeral Skies as well. So, and as a teenager, I spent every day listening to Iron Maiden. So, and then from Iron Maiden, I got into Yngwie Malmsteen and Dream Theater.
Okay.
And when I listened to Dream Theater as a teenager, I was like, okay, some parts kind of catchy in the Maiden way, So
Hmm.
cool, nice chorus, and then it came those weird parts, and I was like, Maiden would never do this. What is the shit? But then you start to understand more about it, and But that was my first like impressions of it. So as a teenager's agers was probably that, and Symphony X has been a huge influence
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
last 20 years. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, Symphony X, definitely a very good band. Iron Maiden, definitely a very good band.
Yeah.
Kind of a
So,
fan myself as well for them. So,
okay. Did you
but
see Symphony X? No. Have you
I'm
seen
sorry.
them? Have you seen Symphony
No,
X?
I've
Live?
never
No.
seen them live. No. Symphony X I
Mm,
haven't seen live. Maiden
no.
also not. I've
No.
been thinking like I gotta see one of these huge bands once, but then I see the amount of people in these concerts, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be in the middle of them. It's like I'll watch the DVD. So I never got around to
Mm,
seeing them. But I definitely enjoy their music. But I
mm.
can understand that taking the step from Iron Maiden to Dream Theater is quite huge. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's quite something different. I've always had a bit of a, I don't know how you say it, a hate love relationship with Dream Theater. I
Mm,
definitely like them. I think they're really good. I'm not a big fan of James LeBrie. Well,
mm,
of his voice. He's a nice guy.
mm.
He's a really nice guy. I know that many years ago, when I just started reviewing, and that was before the whole YouTube thing. The whole LiveProg idea didn't exist back then. I was just writing reviews for magazines, and I remember that I got an opportunity to do a telephone interview with James LeBrie.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and I gotta say, there was I can't remember why and for what album again. I don't know if it's a Dream Theater album or maybe a solo album from him. I'm not sure. Um, but I must say, I had a really nice chat with him. He's a really nice guy, and yeah, that's a memory I have of him.
Yeah, of course.
But vocal wise,
Mm,
that's one of the reasons why I don't really listen to Dream Theater, because I'm not a big fan of the vocals.
mm.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't
but
heard the last.
that's
I haven't heard the last albums. I kind of moved away from Dream Theater some years ago, but James LeBrie's first two albums with Dream Theater, his singing is top notch. I think the
yeah,
Images and Words and Awake. I think it's
yeah,
very.
yeah. For some reason, the older albums I can still enjoy, but I remember I was at I don't know, last year or something, was with the record store, and they had some vinyls from Dream Theater, and I was like, hey, I don't know them. It were live albums and concerts, and I was like, okay. And I just was curious I wanted to listen to something before I bought it, and I just listened to it a little bit, and it was like, no, thank you, I'm not going to take this one. That was purely because of the vocals. So yeah, it's just I don't know why. Maybe I just picked the wrong album, but that can then ruin it for more. So it's kind of a shame.
Sure, it can. They have an old live album. I think it's called Live at the Marquee. I think it's from early 90s. And
Okay,
James
that's a really old one.
he's really slaying it. He sings so well on that particular album.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he also did a part with Arian, the Human Equation album. Yeah, but also there, I had a little bit. I'm a big fan of Arian. I had a pleasure of working with Arjen Lucassen for a couple of years as his webmaster, which was quite nice. But for some reason, the Human Equation is not one of my favorite Arian albums, and I have to think that it's because of the vocals or one of the vocalists.
All right.
Not want to go into negativity. I mean, like I said, he is a great guy. He's a great singer. So it's just a personal taste. But but I still think they're a great band, and they're definitely an influence on a lot of people. So that's very good. I think I have I've run out of questions.
Yeah. I'm not that interesting actually. So
you are, but I just couldn't find enough.
Yeah, just kidding.
Enough dirt on you there. No. I've been looking. I mean, I always try when I always try to find some things to talk about. But we talked. I think quite a bit about the music, which is the main thing. And hopefully that's what people will take away from this live stream. Your music and what's behind it. I think it's really cool, and I'm really looking forward to the future to see what other cool music you're going to bring. No pressure there, no pressure.
Cool.
Yeah, but I want to thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you, Marcel. Had a really great time. Really thankful for this interview and the review that you did, of course. All the stuff means a lot.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to do. All right, then we're going to say goodbye to the viewers. And if you have missed it or tuning in now and you missed the whole chat, no worries. It'll be on the YouTube channel. You can rewatch it to your heart's desire or heart's content. How do you say that? And then see what you've missed and check out a little bit more. So thank you very much, everyone. And I hope to see you guys all with another live stream, which will definitely come here on this channel. And Jonathan, once again, thank you very much for being my guest on this live stream, on the very first one.
Yeah,
it's a bit of history.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.